From the Cardinal Television studios, I'm Justin Gould with Fisher News Brief. A tragedy on a California interstate Sunday after a deadly collision between a tour bus and a tractor-trailer left 13 people dead and several others hospitalized. Greg Mills has more.
Look at this. This bus heading back to Los Angeles from a casino in the Salton Sea hit this truck so hard the front of the bus was embedded about 15 feet into this trailer.
The majority of the people who were killed were in the front section of the bus.
He's a 35-year veteran of CHP and says he's never seen anything this bad.
So it's tough. It's tough for all of us. And you never get used to this kind of thing.
The bus driver was one of the 13 killed. The driver of the semi-truck survived.
I can tell you what he said was he felt a thump in the back, but that's all he really knew. He didn't know what specifically happened.
Based on his experience, he said one of four things most likely were the cause of the bus slamming into the back of this big rig. The bus driver was possibly inattentive, or fell asleep, or suffered a medical emergency, or it's the result of a mechanical issue. But CHP said the bus has passed mechanical inspections the last 3 years, the most recent a few months ago. The bus is owned by USA Holiday of Los Angeles, and based on what CHP indicates, the bus driver didn't hit the brakes before hitting the truck.
There didn't appear to be braking skid marks from the bus.
Surviving passengers told investigators everyone was asleep on the bus when the accident happened. Concerned families have been calling CHP all day about relatives who didn't return home. Problem is, CHP says, some people on the bus didn't have valid IDs. The westbound lanes were shut down for about 10 hours after this crash. First, the freeway served as an emergency medical center as paramedics tried to save lives and get the injured on their way to 3 area hospitals.
And the massive military operation to retake Iraq's second biggest city has entered its second week. On Monday, Iraqi and Kurdish forces claimed more land against ISIS, which controls Mosul. Nick Patton-Welsh with more from Erbil.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts today. I think the key one to realise is the Peshmerga are moving forwards. They seem to be going through village after village with the Iraqi army as well, clearing those areas potentially, but we hear the phrase cordon a lot as well. It makes it sound like they're actually sort of sealing the built-up areas as they go past them. Very hard to clear ISIS fighters out of tunnel networks with the mines they've laid to protect themselves and slow down security forces as they move through. That's a dangerous tactic because it means as they move forwards towards the urban sprawl of Mosul, they're going to have potential resistance behind them as they go. That'll make life hard for refugees and for resupplying Iraqi forces in the city itself. The Kurds today laying out a berm for their own defences, but potentially also to mark the area which they may want to keep control of moving forwards, and some chilling reports as well of villagers being killed in that moment between them thinking they've been freed, but ISIS still actually not having left the village. They killed individuals there. And perhaps more positive news, a report from the east of Mosul from locals saying that unidentified men have been attacking ISIS militants. This could be the first signs of insurrection in the city. Limited information, but one piece potentially of positive news from inside that city where 1.2 million people are potentially caught in the crossfire.
And the Chicago Cubs haven't won a World Series championship since 1908, and the Cleveland Indians last won in 1948, so it makes sense that ticket prices for the year's historic matchup between the two cities are out of the park. According to Ticket Tracker Ticket IQ, the average asking price for the 4 baseball games scheduled in Cleveland is about $3,900. But that's a bargain compared to what it costs to get into Game 3, 4, and 5 in Chicago. The average asking price for the games at Wrigley Field is about $7,200. Wow. The series begins tonight in Cleveland. And say sayonara to the witch's broom and spooky ghost. This Halloween, more kids want to be a superhero. That's according to a survey from the National Retail Federation. But that perfect costume may cost you. Mary Maloney explains in today's Consumer Watch.
Kiss the princess goodbye. This Halloween, kids are trading in their crowns for capes.
I saved the city again. Baby's off the chain.
It's the first time in 11 years princesses haven't reigned over the top costume spot, according to a survey by the National Retail Federation. Rounding out the top 5, animals, a character from Batman or Star Wars. But kids aren't the only ones planning on dressing up. Expect to see millennials looking like someone in the Batman universe. You can thank Suicide Squad for that.
We're bad guys. It's what we do.
The Witch puts a spell on adults over 35.
Give him black is black, just like this.
Most who celebrate Halloween, 67%, plan on buying their outfit. And it probably won't come cheap. In total this year, Americans are expected to spend $3.1 billion to get their costume just right. Happy haunting.
Got something better to do?
For Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
And that's all of today's headlines. I'm Justin Gould with Fisher News Brief.